Aha.
He
Yes.
survives.
But yes, I am in Boston still until Friday. This is my bachelor pad. No, I'm kidding. So this is the nice couch which I take refuge for eating and writing, and this is the good old king size bed where I take up only one side. As you can see, I make only one side of the bed. And then you have here is the door, which is where, and also you have closet with stuff.
I've heard of closet.
You have TV, and you have the window, and you have a nice little desk there. And then this is the bathroom. It's the second anniversary, Pete.
Yes, it is.
You remember the nonsense you said last year?
No.
What do you say?
I don't know. That's the point. It was before we started our episode called Simulation Glitch. So Pete had what Japanese drink or Korean drink that you had, and you were like completely drunk and came into the.
Was it sake?
Yes, that's what it was. It was sake. You came in drunk with that from that, and then you just started talking, and we were just like, no.
Listen,
you still started it, but at the same time, we were just like, what are you doing, man?
Remember this?
Yes. So,
it was just a trip because Wesley was there, and then Grace was brand new, and
that was her first episode too.
It was just a whole lot of like different energies going on.
And then Brian was there for a little bit, just in the corner.
Was I there? I don't remember this.
You weren't there. This
all right. Okay. All right.
It was weird.
See, and you don't know everything.
Well, that's what I was like.
So you will
lose. I have a terrible memory, but I'm like, I don't remember this at all.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to our live anniversary special, I guess.
Live-ish.
Yes, live-ish.
Let's go. In
Yeah,
Boston.
that's so poorly. Well, I'm actually in Boston. You are poorly CGI'd into a look. Your chair just.
Sir,
your chair is.
Stop hating on me because I'm on the West Coast. Thank you.
You're not.
We got two East Coasters and a West Coaster here.
Ew, your hair is. Ew.
Ew. That's a no, sir. But anyway, what we got for you guys today is not really. I mean, it's a special where you get to a fun trivia and just fun shit, So
we're relaxing out here.
So I have like a series of like questions and stuff like that. Obviously, the first one is how did we all start, and I could honestly, even though I'm the one asking the questions, I'm legit can answer that myself.
Like, what was the first episode?
Well, not the first episode. It's like, how did this idea come to be?
I mean, it was because you wanted to practice editing, right? And Pete wanted to practice improv for acting, and I had nothing better to do. I mean, right?
No, you're close. I think I know the answer.
Yeah.
You give it a go, Pete.
I think it's because of Maria. Correct me if I'm wrong. It had a little bit of inspiration from one of your classes, right, Deshaun?
Yeah. Okay. So, pretty much like what happened was in the basic acting class, we did a lot of improv stuff. So one of the things that we did was called When Harry Met Sally. So basically, we sat there and we pretty much whatever crap we said was like basically canon, and we couldn't divert from that. So whatever we said about each other on how we met, we had to roll with it. And I was like, you know what? What if we could do that, but in telling stories? And then I came up with the idea and the name. And then I remember coming to you guys one night, and Brian, who is not here, I was like, hey, you guys like down with this if I do this? And then I know you were like down with it. Anthony was like, yeah, like he said, he had nothing else better to do. And then Brian said he was with it. So I was like, all right, well, let's just do it now, because if we don't, then it's not going to we're not going to get it done. So then, what was it? I think it was like October 9th or something like that. It was like a week before the 15th that we recorded the first episode. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just release it on the 15th, just to get it out there. And then from then on, I was like, all right, every other Thursday, let's do it. So yes, you were close, Anthony. Just very dumbed down.
Yes. As is most of the words I say.
But yeah,
that's okay. All right.
Yeah, so that's how it started.
Yeah, because people have asked me how it started, because like I've told like some people at work that like we have our own little podcast, and people always ask me how it started, and that's kind of like the answer I gave them, because like when I thought about it, I'm like, I don't really know why or how. I'm like, but Peter was like doing acting, and Deshaun was doing a lot of editing work, so I mean, it kind of just fit for both of them, and for me, it was just, I mean, even beforehand, like you guys knew I always like was into podcasts and listening to them, and so, I was just about it just for the fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm like, that's the best answer I got. So, I mean, now I know a little bit more.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how we all started. So, the next question that we have is, what's the hardest thing about recording an episode?
Is this lo-fi too loud? Is this cutting over?
No, it's fine.
No? Okay.
You can barely hear it.
You said the hardest thing about recording an episode?
Yes.
That's the time, probably. I mean, it depends. I guess it depends if you mean now or like when we started.
Anytime now, because to be honest, what you mean by now and when we started, it kind of feels the same to me, because I always
staying focused. Staying focused is the hardest thing, because between the three of us / four of us, when there's Brian, and if you add in Julian for his guest starring, like besides that, like just staying focused. That's my answer. Like we talk about literally anything, and we will ramble. And we'll be like, yeah, were we going to start this like an hour ago? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's how our banters, that's how each episode starts. I find the best banter out of all that, put it there, and just,
Yeah, what do you think, Pete?
I kind of want to say the timing, because
Right.
I feel like sometimes someone would have, like, two ideas will spark at the same time, but it's as to who gets to it first sometimes. And then, okay, we gotta like morph it into something else to build upon the story, which continues on the idea of improv with yes and.
I see what you're saying. Like sometimes someone will be like, say something else, and someone else will be like, that's not what.
That's not what I was thinking.
Right. That does happen a lot. Yeah.
But like, it still like builds like good story though.
But yeah, it still works. At least like
Yeah, we retcon it. We're like, nah.
You're like, no. This is better. You're like, yeah. Actually, that one's better. I think for me, the hardest thing about recording an episode is getting all of you together for a day.
Yeah, that was part of my first answer. I mean, like, because like when we started, like to be honest, like I had a more set schedule, so I felt like at least for me it was easier. Like you guys knew. Like whatever it was, Monday night, like Sunday night, like I was literally there. Now, like we all have different like schedules every week, so
yeah, and
it's
then,
hard.
And then the times when we finally would all get together, there'll be that one person that would be like, can we move this tomorrow? I'm tired, or something comes up, or someone falls asleep. We try so hard to wake them up that they walk away.
I don't know if you mean me or yourself.
Oh no,
Both.
I'm talking about one specific moment of time that we were all together, and then we were waiting for this one dude comes into the room from whatever he had to do. I get it; it was really late, and whatever he had to do was very tedious.
I think they had a
Comes on the couch, sits down, eats some food, and we're waiting for him. We're like, all right, go ahead, eat. We're right here waiting.
Was this me? Did I do this?
No. It's specifically a person that is completely listening to this right now.
live audience.
And then
You did this?
And then he knocked out on the couch while we're waiting for him, and we're like,
Pete, you're a villain, bro.
Nah. I'm
You're a villain, bro.
I'm the
and
victim
then-
of a harsh schedule of a college student. I
and
need
then-
that break.
And then one specific person out of the three of us that were waiting for this guy, he's like, you know what? I'm going to bed. And then
This just contributes to the rambling. But Pete, you remember that one time we sat down in Adler Center and I looked at your schedule and I just couldn't comprehend how or why it got to that point? I was like, Pete, I need to know why you're late for everything. I was like, write me down every single thing you're a part of. And this man wrote down like 2 pages worth of just miscellaneous stuff that he had agreed to be a part of for that semester.
I had
I was like,
actually, I have my journal right here.
Right.
I will open
It's in that journal.
I went through a lot. Monday, March 25th, 2019. Stage management, rehearsal reports, weekly calls, maybe group chat with cast, contract about Saturday time, rehearsal props, scene breakdown, tech list. It was just a lot, man. Scene studies. 100 questions needs to be completed within one night. Group scene selection, memorize entire scenes, artist therapy. Complete 3 to 4 page paper. Use soap.
Use soap.
You are a slave, bruh.
Producing the play, the library paper, 2 to 3 pages, and then look at this. I can't even see. It was just a lot, man. April 1st.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
You were a slave. And then it was hard, even in the second season, trying to get you and Grace together.
Oh,
I was just
God.
like, I was just like, it's just one thing. But then it ended up being, when we got together, the episodes were like a whole hour long. I tried so hard to wrap it up, but y'all kept adding more to it. And I'm just like, all right, we'll go with it.
Now, okay.
No, but granted though, they have came out good.
They were
But
good.
at the same time, that's why the second season book has been delayed. I've not worked on it since then. That thing can wait until I'm ready.
Oh,
That's right. You guys were missing my my brutal efficiency where I would just cut a story off and call it the end.
Yeah,
I'd be like, that's the end. Everybody would be like, what? I'm like, yep, that's it. That's the end.
That's it.
wrap.
Time's up.
I gotta go play Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, that's gonna be good segue to something, but I'll hold that off. So, what was the most fun episode recorded so far? All right, Anthony, you can go to an extent, but unless you know much up until now. But mind you, in season 2, there are a lot of episodes that you are in because those were pre-recorded from
Right. Yeah, I remember.
from the first season.
I would say, I mean, I have 3 in mind, but you really just want like 1 for an answer, right?
Well, pick your 1, and then you can probably mention your other 2.
So, I mean, my most fun, like that springs to mind right now, is probably just our Halloween special with Brian, because first off, I love Halloween time. Like this time, right around this year, October is already my favorite. So when we made our Halloween special where we went back in time, the dickhead killer,
And
we
that
had
was
some drinks, we were chilling, the Werewolf Bunny returns. Like, yeah, probably right around there. But other ones that are springing to mind are the one where we did the rewind of the year, and we went around and changed in the whole year. And the other one was my graduation story. Yeah, the story, yes. So those are three of my highlights, just off the top of my head.
Well, you got me on the rewind, mainly because although I love like the first few episodes that we did, like Dick Get Killer will always have a special place in my heart.
That was our first episode.
It was a beautiful episode that segued into like 2 seasons, but the rewind really captures the most because we literally predicted the entire year, and like it still sticks to me to that day. Like it was on point, every single thing.
Also, got to shout out the Wild Wild Beast.
Wild Wild Beast. That was a wild.
That was good stuff.
Wild episode.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
Oh man.
But there's been so many good ones. Hard to pick. What about you, Deshaun?
Ooh, I will say right off the bat, my most interesting one is Invasion. The whole Invasion story.
Yeah.
That it only because I personally always wanted to see like a story with a zombie apocalypse and an alien invasion going on at the same time. But what I liked most about the fact that this episode, the 13th episode, was it all
the
happened
backdrop of the revolution.
Yeah, the backdrop of the revolution, and how the story just like when you tell people that, it's just like, whoa, that's like so much all jumble mumbo jumbo. But no, we had a complete like, all right, 3 guys trying to get their 4th person on a mission. George Washington randomly dies, but hey, that's a good twist. It's not an actual history, so fuck it. And then all that going on. So like to me, at the end of that whole thing, I was like, yo, that was really cool. So that's my number.
I agree. What I love about that is like the story. What like all that was basically just a backdrop for a self-contained story about. It was basically a buddy story, Like guys just going to get the friend, but the backdrop was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Like to me, I was just like that. It worked. Like something that people, if you say it to somebody, it would sound far-fetched, but it worked. That's definitely my number one. My second would probably be, it might actually be Simulation Glitch. Only because of how that whole thing was. I was just like, wait, what? So I don't think you know about it, Anthony. Mm-hmm. So Simulation Glitch was the first episode that Grace was in, but it's also episode 4 of the second season. So we're all in New York. This is Pete making up the story for the start of it. We're all in New York penthouse, and we all believe that we're in a simulation called sci-fi. And we're trying to figure out a way out of the simulation, and it involves like giant alien squirrel people that are putting us in the simulation, like the Matrix. And then NPC Peters that if they touch you, you turn into an NPC Peter, and they chase after you. And it involves scooters riding dispensers to try and escape. And yeah, it was absurd, but it was funny.
Right.
It's like World War Z.
Yeah. But imagine, the World War Z zombies. Imagine that, but with Peters.
I got Peters. That is scary. I gotta go through our back catalog and give some of them some listens. Again.
Yeah, so that one was my second one that I think it was because at first I was like, yo, what the hell is this? But after like editing and like listening to it, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty interesting. And then I think my third one would probably be it probably would be either 2018 Rewind Timeline or the Dank Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
Either one of those would be up there for number 3.
Can I just say?
I also Trek Through Rock Bottom. Just gotta say.
Oh yeah, that.
Yep.
Yep. That's up there.
Yeah, I forget what movie I had recently seen before that one. You know what I based it off of? And it's hilarious because I just watched a video on this yesterday. I forget the actual name of it, but you know the story behind those like Russian skiers that went missing at like this like northern Russian pass, like in whatever. Anyway, they ended up turning that into like a story that was in a bunch of different things, like a movie called The Devil's Pass.
Yeah.
Right? And I explained the ending to that to you guys after we did the podcast. But I had recently had that in my mind, and that's why I came up with the ending of that. And funny enough, I actually showed Jocelyn that movie yesterday. We didn't watch the whole thing. I just skipped through it and explained it to her. And she was like, that was awful. I'm like, yes. but the idea was good. And that's why it's in the podcast.
I honestly thought you were talking about the Grinch and when the Who's on top of the Grinch's mountain. I was like,
Yes.
the Russian skiers, like,
What?
And basically, yes.
Yeah.
I do have to say, one of the, still to this day, the weirdest episodes when we did our collab with
Man, we did so many collaborations, but
know
the
what
one
I'm talking
Thought
Tapas
Patrol.
That one was
That one was tedious.
yes. It was.
So tedious to record because I had no idea what was going on. It was fun,
It was
but
fun.
at the same time, we had no clue. I was like, I'm trying to steer it. Like, I'm the one that's trying to like steer some type of plot line to go through, but then everybody else just goes, all right, hard left, hard right, turn it this way. And I'm like, bring it all back here.
Like,
tie it all together.
if I can like describe the chaoticness of it, you guys have seen Rick and Morty. What was it? The train storyteller, the storyteller train episode.
Yeah.
When Morty had to like think of like the episode, like the mother and the daughter Summer and like the giant tarantula people.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what the episode makes me think of. And then Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like, girls, good job.
You did. Lady person. Yeah, because you haven't listened to that one either, Anthony.
Nah.
Let's just say, what was it? Jesus, Samuel L. Jackson, Morgan Freeman, and Janet Jackson, or some.
They're all in
that,
court.
they all came down and like
They came down on a rainbow.
It sounds like the ultimate rap battle.
and they were going against the greatest thought of them all, Shirley Temple.
That's what it was. That's
Shirley Temple was the greatest thought of them all. Thought queen.
animal crackers.
That was my idea. Shirley Temple is the bad person.
It just doesn't make
She's the villain.
in black and white and in color.
That's up there with one of the most, like, it was fun. I was very afraid by that episode as far as editing it because I had no clue what was going on. Because you have no idea that after we record and everything, I'm the one that sits there and I listen
got to figure out.
I'm sitting there listening through it. I cut out majority of the ums and ands and all the unnecessary or stuff that's
You gotta say commends to you, Deshaun, because the editing over the years has gotten good. It's gotten good.
It's only been 2 years.
It's over the years. Because at the beginning, I feel like, I appreciate you and all your work.
Yeah, because I will
feel
say,
especially the audio, because I feel like what I have noticed from when I listen to them now, it's clean. Like the special effects like aren't like overdone. Like they're mixed in well. So yeah, commends to you.
Yeah, it's hard. Like that's why.
I bet.
That's why in the first season I kept telling you guys to like, like be vocal, because the times that you would speak and then you would unintentionally just go mumble and stuff, and then audio gets quiet. For me, when I edit, I'm like, crap. Now I gotta raise the volume up. Then I gotta make sure that when I add like the ambience and the sound effects and the music, that it doesn't overbear the voice and the voice doesn't overbear the rest, and it just feels off. That's why like some of the things, and then also depends on what we're recording on. Like, for most of the first season, I was using my good old cell phone, by the way, the nice little thing here. Yeah, we was using my phone, and we had little lavalier mics and stuff. But like the lavalier mics were pretty good until the voices were mumbling. But then when I would use my laptop to record that one of the episodes, episode 8, that kind of like, it was hard. That's why when you had mentioned that when you listened to it, Anthony, you were like, yeah, the audio is kind of like off. And I'm like, yeah. And then I went back and to edit and stuff like that. It was because my laptop recording our sound was kind of like very low and was bad, that I just, at that moment, I was like, I'm going to just release it. I'll just edit it and I'll re-upload it, So editing has been tedious. That's why I try to get this stuff done early. A couple days early is fine with me. A week early is best. Especially since we were releasing every other week. So I'm like, all right, well, that's why I tried to stick to at least a reasonable schedule, where it was like, all right, hey, you guys down to record this weekend? We don't have an episode coming out. It gives me enough time for me to release it. But,
Yes.
So, but yeah, that was it. Yes, I edit them all. And I do what I can with what I got now. Because, yeah, I'm not in school.
Yeah. Gotta steal a Mac.
Nah, man, just do off market. Get the mouse and the keyboard. No track.
Yeah.
All right. So, I think it's trivia time. Because we got 9 minutes until the meeting time is over.
Yes. All right. Let's do flash trivia. I'm prepared.
There's 10 questions. You ready? It's Anthony against Pete.
I have my
First-
buzzer. My buzzer's right here.
First question is, every Christmas-themed episode so far, we killed Santa Claus. How many times was that?
Twice. 3 times.
4.
It definitely wasn't 4.
You
Wait,
pick.
how many? We had the Santa's workshop. Did he die in Santa's workshop?
Yes.
I don't think so.
No.
If he died, we didn't kill him. Someone else killed him.
Did we get Mrs. No, we got Mrs. Claus in that episode. Did we?
What about the Krampus Express? Was
Krampus
he dead there?
Didn't a bunny?
Did we really kill him that many times?
All right.
I think it's a trick question. I don't think
No.
we killed him.
No. Give your final answer, and I'll give you the correct one.
Final answer is 5. I feel confident in my answer.
Okay. 3. All right.
3.
Well, Anthony, you are correct. It's 3 times. First time was actually Santa's workshop. We threw him off of the sled, and he crushed Mrs. Claus.
I knew Mrs. Claus died. Okay, I knew Mrs. Claus died.
I remember. It's
I get
because we
one
found
bonus
out he was
point.
running a slave shop with the toys, sending us to Detroit. So that's why we took him out.
Yeah.
I remember.
Second time was Krampus Express. He was I think, Pete, you're the one that made him the conductor. And then one of the were bunnies that was one of us, I think it was Pete, he got all crazy and mad and started ripping him to shreds. And then the third time was actually in season 2 called Attack of the Ginger Youth. So that story is basically gingerbreads had murdered Santa Claus and took over pretty much.
I don't think I was there
all
for
of
this
Christmas.
one.
You weren't there for that. It was me and Grace.
Word.
But that was the
Word.
third time that Santa died, and I was like, damn, we killed Santa Claus every Christmas. That's bad.
Word. All right, I'm leading here, Pete. 1-0.
All right, next question. What episode ended up becoming the most listened episode of all the seasons so far?
Wreck through rock bottom.
Yeah, he got it. He was first.
Yeah, that's right. 2-0, Pete. 2-0.
I was gonna say
2-0.
Wild Wild West. Damn.
Nah, you gotta know the stats here. You gotta know the stats, bro.
Yeah, Trek Through Rock Bottom is the highest listen.
All right.
Okay.
Hit me with the next one.
What was the first bonus episode we had done, and what was one of the things we talked about?
It was off topic.
We did
talked about
a review of
Detective Pikachu. We talked Pokemon and different subjects.
we did a review, I believe, of Avengers.
Pete got that one.
Damn.
You're not wrong, Anthony, but Pete
Yeah.
got that one. Our first one was called Off Topic, and we started talking about Pokemon,
Okay.
Tree,
All right.
and a whole bunch of other stuff.
I want to do more of these. I love the off-topic ones.
All right. What next question is, which episode was short because Anthony wanted to play Kingdom Hearts 3 at midnight?
Oh man,
Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West.
No, Wild Wild West wasn't short, bro.
Wait, was it the
Which one was short because I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts? It came out. That was like, it had to be January. It had to be at the end of January of the year. Was it the Rewind?
No.
Huh.
Wait.
I don't know. I'm gonna give up. Let's move. I'll give up. I won't get it.
You give up, Pete?
Yeah. Let's
All
just
right.
go to the next one, Pete.
It's Pokemon.
Damn.
Pokemon Dungeon
Pokemon?
Mysteries. Yes, you're the one that started it, and then you ended it because you had to play. Because it hit midnight.
I remember that.
and
I
Kingdom
remember
Hearts
that
3
bit.
came
I
out.
just couldn't remember which. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that was the same episode where I was drinking whiskey sour. Was it that same night? I think, yeah,
Maybe.
it was the same night I was drinking. I remember the drink I was drinking for that night.
And remember, in the episode, Brian shouts, "It's 12," and that was when Anthony ran to his room. All right, next
That game was not worth it, let me tell you. Next question.
question. What episode ended up giving accurate predictions of certain outcomes after it came out?
Rewind.
2018 Rewind.
All right, both of y'all got that. That was easy. All right. So this one, this is a debate now. Who would win? Lil Gobble or the Were Bunny?
Oh.
Ooh, wait a second.
Oh.
Wait a second. We talked about this. We had a whole episode, so don't even.
We've done a 2-part special, but this is a debate now.
Now, here's the thing. Right?
I'm going.
Here's the thing. Yeah, who
okay.
you going with, Pete?
I'm going with Lil Gobble.
Okay, see, I'm going with the Were Bunny, and I will tell you why. Right? I will tell you why.
Proceed.
Because Little Gobble, while an immense threat to an entire village of pilgrims, he is but a single gobble. Okay? While the Were Bunny, his whole mission is to create other Were Bunnies. He is an infector, he's a spreader of disease and chaos. And once he accumulates allies and there's multiple Were Bunnies, like, done. You're done. Like Little Gobble, he's consistent, okay? He comes every Thanksgiving. You know when he's coming, and you know how to beat him. All you gotta do is like smear some gravy and shit on your door, and you're good. But Were Bunny, he don't care about none of that. He don't care about none of that. The Domino's guy, the pizza guy, Pete Mercer, he got them all. He don't care about.
Hey,
All right, so that's where I'm going.
You're very valid in your argument in that, but something that you forgot to mention is that Lil Gobble is also a parent. Lil Gobble Jr. came up after the first Lil Gobble passed away because of the fight with the Were Bunny after Sarah and Jessica got turned into Were Bunnies. And I get it. Were Bunnies has the upper hand as far as like population wise. You just scratch. Wow. Oh, more. Wow. Okay. But guess what? Lil Gobble has heart. Little Gobble has soul. Little Gobble Jr. is gonna avenge their father.
Okay, all right, Deshaun, you've heard both sides.
On top of that, it was buried on the Native American land, if I'm not mistaken, come back to life. So they got the advantage of immortality from that. It's almost like Pet Cemetery, which is one of the episodes. I didn't forget about it.
Yeah, that movie ain't good. I tried the audiobook. I didn't like it either. All right, Deshaun, you've heard both reasonings. Which one are you steering towards? Who gets this point?
I'll give that in the edit.
Okay.
Fair.
All right, that's fair.
All right, next.
I feel like good points were made on both sides.
Yeah, I'll leave that in the edit. Again,
I know it.
Again, what was the title of Anthony's personal diary tale?
Story of a Sad Italian.
The Diary of a Sad Italian.
Fuck.
You were both close.
The Diary of a Sad, Lonely Italian?
No.
You were close, but your answers are cut off. No one gets the point. It was Diary of a Sad White Italian. Y'all were close. Y'all were close. All right.
I'm holding the diary.
I have the pages though.
You do. Yes. That
was the one thing that I was like, because I had that episode planned
right here.
That episode was intentionally planned, but at the same time, like, I wanted to do it, but how it got done, that was a different story. It just happened. Like the commencement episode when he read the diary page, I was like, yeah, do that. That's perfect. And then when you were giving up those pages, I was like, no, I have to take them.
What did I do with the journal? I think I gave it to Felipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows what was done.
What a weird trip that was. I have no idea why I took it.
Oh, the Res Life trip.
It was a Res Life trip.
Yeah.
I liked my trip a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because he hated his.
Yeah.
Don Eddie told me specifically that you didn't like it.
No, I didn't. That's so funny because I don't even remember complaining to John about it, but I must have.
All right, next question is a debate. Who would win, the Dickhead Killer or 1,000 NPC Peters?
Well, I wasn't there for the Peter episode, but I feel like this is almost a trick question because they are both Peter. Right? So, I mean, I don't know exactly what the 1,000 Peters entail, but the Dickhead Killer is also another variation of Peter from the future, but also the past simultaneously. I am going to go with the Dickhead Killer.
All right, well, Peter...
Because if the, 1,000 Peters are like the T-1000, like, the Dickhead Killer is like the T-800. Like, he might be a little outdated, but he's got a lot of heart, he's got a lot of spirit. And he'll find a way.
You're not wrong. Like, the Dickhead Killer, he's smart in the sense of, like... But, like, all the NPCs, they're like, beep, boop, beep, boop. That's the best way it works in my head, and I know because I'm Peter. That's the thing. And right. Anthony, he kind of hit it on the spot. It's like the Terminator versus Rambo. Like, it's just... Yeah, I would have to agree with the Dickhead Killer because he knows how to outmaneuver. The NPCs, they're just NPCs. They don't have, like, their own free thought. But the Dickhead Killer, he knows how to think. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, I'll leave that point up for debate in the edit. All right, next question is, what episode... This is a nice little segue. What episode secretly ties to Terror of the Dickhead Killer?
Hot Tub Time Machine. No, not Hot Tub Time Machine. 2018 Time Machine. Was it? No. Wait.
Oh, I remember. There was one where we, basically the ending of it is like there is a hot tub time machine.
It was specifically Dickhead Killer, and it was like, no, it was a 50s.
I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know. I don't know. I just know that the ending, there's a time machine involved, and that's how they tie in.
no, it was Mark Zuckerberg. It was with Mark. No, that was 2018 Rewind, wasn't it? But it wasn't Marky. It was the female Mark. Oh man. I fold.
All right. Anthony says, what was your answer again?
I don't know. I just know that it ties in with the ending of a time machine at the end of another episode.
So you both fold.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I can understand you guys' answers, but there's a direct tie-in. Specifically, it is called Law and Disorder, 1936.
Ah,
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
You weren't there for that, but
all right. Okay.
You weren't there for it. I'll give it to you on that one. But I will say
I remember it specifically with Grace.
Yeah,
Black
but
and white
basically what happened, the reason why it's unintentional, it accidentally happened. So in the beginning, Pete mentions himself as an older version with a teddy bear. But then for the rest of the story, Pete's no longer there. And we're like two detectives trying to solve a case and everything. And then the ending involves they find the culprit was some dude's wife who one of the deputies' wife or officer or whatever, his wife was in ties with his partner who they were trying to do like series of murders called the lipstick killer or whatever. But the way that it ties in is that same officer, after they catch the culprit and everything, he moves to a secluded town, opens up a bar, and then in the deep south, and then that's how it all tied in. It was all unintentional, but it was one way to do it. I was like, oh, well, we're going to go there.
I think I remember hearing about it, and that's why I kind of remembered, but yeah, I guess I wasn't there.
Yeah, I had mentioned it to you once, I think.
Yeah, because that's why I'm like, that sounds familiar. I know that he ties in somewhere, but I couldn't remember why.
Yeah. So, next question. What was the name of the first town the gang visited in Wild Wild West, and why?
I feel like we deserve a hint.
All right. So here's your one and only hint.
All right.
I came up with the town name, and I couldn't figure out a name, so I just named the place that we lived at for the past 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
No. If you want me to narrow it down, I'm talking about room and board on campus.
It was the Village.
Okay.
Fine.
No.
What was the name of the town? Oh, I'm just thinking out loud. All right. Pete, I feel like we should work together on this one. All right.
It wouldn't be CPAs. I was thinking Overlook.
Did we ever live in CPAs or Overlook?
We didn't live in the CPAs.
Pine?
We didn't live either of
Projects?
them places.
There's only been 2 places that we lived at.
So it was either Pine or
The
Village. Village we lived in.
Village of the Pine.
All right, I'm gonna give you a second.
We lived in First Quad.
I'm gonna give you a second hint. So there was 2 places that we ever lived during our years there, right? But when we started the podcast, we were in what place?
Village 8F, First Quad.
Yeah, but I didn't go that. I didn't go that specific for a town name.
Yeah. It was the Village, bro.
Okay, now why?
Why?
Why did they go to the Village?
To look for. We went to look for the guru guy. The guru. We needed information on how to save our friend.
Brain.
Brian. Yes.
Wrong franchise, Pete.
I'm sticking with my answer. That's as close as I'm getting.
You both get half points because I had to help y'all. All right, next question.
I feel like we earned that, Pete.
Next question. Where was the first place the gang traveled in 2018?
Wild. No, not Wild. The Deep South.
2018. the whole rewind timeline. What was the first place they went to rewind time? Or like
Facebook headquarters.
We went to somewhere on Halloween night.
Wait, no,
no, not that one. The 2018 rewind timeline episode. What was the first place we went?
New Year's Eve. Wait.
That changes nothing.
It was the first event of 2018, which was what was the first thing that happened in 2018? Was it part?
I'll give you one hint. The event happened literally either a day or 2 days after New Year's, and it involved a certain celebrity.
Was it someone's death that we went to go pay respects to, or something? It was or was it something with Bill Cosby?
I just know.
No.
I legit just gave you a hint. It'll involve a celebrity, and it happened 1 or 2 days after New Year's.
It wasn't John Witherspoon. It wasn't John Witherspoon.
All right.
He died that year. But...
YouTube celebrity. There we go. That'll help you.
Oh, the forest. It was in Japan the suicide forest.
Suicide Forest.
Who was it though?
Jake Paul. I said it first.
You did say suicide first. Pete deserves that point. I wasn't gonna get that point.
Pete can get the point if he names the right Paul because he made the wrong one.
Logan Paul.
Damn, Pete.
I deserve 1/4 of the point, and Pete gets 3/4 of the point. I feel like I earned 1/4 of that point, Pete.
All right.
Do it by thirds. He got the name, but I got the location, Japan, and the specific location, the forest.
Right. I wasn't gonna guess the forest, so I feel like you deserve most of the points, but I did get the name.
All right, next question. Now this is regarding episode titles.
Okay.
What was the greatest year that never happened?
2018.
No, that one we rewind time, my friend.
The greatest year that never happened. Like, what is the story? Or
no, that. So you know how 2018 rewind timeline. So what year was considered the greatest year that never happened?
2019, 2017, 2020.
It was like.
All right, you both each get one more guess.
I'll wait for Pete.
If he gets it wrong, I'll get it right.
It was for our second New Year special. I know that. Stop. I don't know. Anthony?
Yeah. What's up? I told you I was waiting for you, Pete.
I fold. I fold. So go.
I fold.
You fold? You sure you want to fold, Anthony?
I'm gonna guess
wait a second.
2018.
His graduation episode, the greatest year that never happened.
No, you already folded.
Yeah, you
You
fold
already
it, and now
Yeah.
you fold it, and that was wrong.
Yeah, you already folded.
But I'm just asking, Anthony. Are you sure you want to fold?
No,
Wait a
no,
second.
I don't want to fold. I'm gonna say 20.
I know
18.
this. I know the answer now. Can I say the answer? I guess. Just a wild guess now.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, are you done, Ann? No, that's it. Final answer. 2018.
That's yeah.
Okay. All right. Give it a go.
2020.
Wrong. We didn't even get to that episode yet. It's 2019, y'all. You had
Damn.
it, Anthony.
Damn, I don't remember doing a 2019 episode.
You weren't there for it, but it was in the scene.
Oh,
It was me,
man.
me, Pete, and Michael, a friend of ours. We were.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that one involved Mandalorian versus Predator and Baby Yoda and J.J. Abrams and a bunch of other shit.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I wasn't the one that brought. You brought up J.J. Abrams. You brought. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the greatest year that never happened, and it all happened during the Fire Festival. And that's what we made it. Yeah, the greatest year that never happened, because the Fire Festival ended up being an actual festival than what it was, and then all the other extra stuff, and then Popeye's chicken sandwiches and. Yeah, everything of 2019's trends was all there.
Rule.
Yeah.
Maybe humans aren't that bad after all.
All right, next question. How many times did Anton the android have his body destroyed and upgraded to a new one?
3 times.
3. I'm going with 3 as well.
All right, you were correct, because each episode he had to end up getting a new body.
Yeah.
Because either Anton was sacrificing himself or he got destroyed.
Now, I know you said that first, Pete, but I was very much also on board with 3, so I don't know,
I already knew. What do you mean?
I also knew it, though. That's all I'm saying. It's like I also knew.
Okay, it sounded like you wanted credit.
No, like I do. I mean, I do.
You get participation.
It's my character, after all.
Deshaun, give him a participation point for that.
All right. So the last question of the trivia is, what's the title of our next episode?
2020 question mark?
Our next episode.
Oh, wait a second. Wait, we're doing it right now. Hold up. Wait a second.
Yeah. No.
No, not this one.
Not this one.
It's the one we did before this.
I mean, I get you, Pete, because I would do a trick question like that, but no.
Isn't it the one we recorded right before this?
We didn't record nothing before this.
No, I guess the Invasion's already out.
Yep.
You mean the next one?
Yeah, the next one after this.
That's it right there.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Ah.
Anthony got it first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day.
Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please, won't you be my neighbor?
Yes, that will be our next one. That will come out Halloween time.
That's opinionated. That's an opinion. That's in the director's cut. I call foul play.
And that was the end of the trivia right there.
All right.
I have no clue who won, but it will definitely be tallied.
Yes.
I think the duck wins.
Uh,
And that
don't know.
Yes.
the duck is
About that.
evil. The duck is
The
evil.
duck is fading through the Golden Gate Bridge.
He went into another dimension.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
He is my precious.
Oh, that's disturbing.
I like having video on these though, to be honest. Very entertaining.
Very nice, very nice.
It
Yeah, we-
brings back the old feel of the round table near the the village kitchen.
Yeah, we just
You
sit
know what I'm
there.
saying?
Yeah, we just sit there and we're just looking
Sit there,
at each other.
snack. Yeah,
Have Brian mumble in the background.
that's right. Brian half asleep.
Yeah, he always sitting on his laptop waiting for us, and he's just playing away at a game.
Borderlands 2 to be specific. Or Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, you and him used to play Left 4 Dead a lot. I remember one time we were waiting for Anthony to do to start, and y'all both pulled out y'all laptops and started playing Left 4 Dead. And y'all were like, wait. And then when Anthony came out, y'all were still playing, and we waiting on y'all. And then Anthony goes back to go do something. And then after finally y'all finish, we're waiting on Anthony. Then Anthony comes out, and y'all back on to playing again.
You know what it was, too? We got a really good deal on Borderlands because we had, like, the expansion pack, the golden pack, for, like, $10. And for Left 4 Dead, I fucking loved it because we have, like, all the mods where
Yeah,
the Teletubbies, Shrek. Hey now, you're a rock star. Whenever like the big tank monster boss would come in, and then it would be like every time we shoot them, it would be like oof.
All right.
It
All
was
right.
nice.
So with trivia over, I would like to end this special with a little mini story on it's just to show how we essentially go about this stuff. Luckily, Pete, and I'd already told Anthony, I already spun the wheel. So what we do is we would get a nice little handy dandy wheel and spin it, because originally before we'll just stare at each other until we figure out what genre we wanted to do. But luckily, like when we started, it was around like holidays time, so we just stuck holiday theme until season 2 rolled around, or well, even after the holidays, trying to figure out what to do. So thanks to Anthony, we decided to do the wheel.
It all started on my graduation. I'm walking off the field, and then all I see in the air is a giant inflatable duck. I saw it. It was the size of a blimp. I looked to my left and I looked to my right, and I wonder if anyone else sees a giant duck floating across, almost causing an eclipse. Like, when I say he's huge.
So then, as I'm loading Peter into the ambulance while he's screaming, he's screaming and slashing about a duck in the sky as he began to claw off his own skin, scraping between his eyes. We load him into the ambulance. I try to look for his phone to see if I can contact his family, but it's gone, missing, left behind on the road where he collapsed in the middle of campus. So as the ambulance embarks over to the hospital, you can hear Peter's shrieks from across the street. The duck, the duck, the duck, it's coming, as he scrapes between his eyes. I'm sitting there in the ambulance as his his friend trying to help him. The EMTs are they're trying to keep calm, but they're panicking because this man is obviously delusional. They haven't seen anyone freaking out like him before. We make it over to the hospital. They unload Peter, put him on a cart, and push him deep in towards the emergency room, towards the
cart.
exactly on a cart. send him to the IU, and so I'm left to wonder what's happening. And I ask the nurse, and she says to wait, and they'll get me information as soon as possible. So I sit in the waiting room, and it turns from an hour to 2 hours to 3. Before I know it, the clock strikes midnight, and I still have no information on my friend Peter. All of a sudden, I hear a ringing and vibration coming from my pocket, my back pocket. I pull out a phone that's not mine. My phone, I had my hands the whole time. Turns out it was Peter's phone, and I answer the call.
And then it's Peter, and you're like, and Peter's like, trying to mumble out, "Help me," and Anthony is confused, and he's like, "Pete, where are you? How are you like calling me? Like, where are you?" Like, he's trying to figure out where Peter is, and all you can hear Peter say again is, "Help me." And mind you, at this time, like it's like almost midnight. The hospital's 24 hours. It's one of those 24-hour hospitals, and Anthony's in there, and it's past midnight, and majority of the nurses and doctors have gone home, and it's only like the after dark crew. So then Anthony goes to try and find one of the nurses so he can figure out like what's going on, where Peter is and everything, and he can't find anyone. Everyone's gone. It's empty. And then suddenly all the lights flicker for a moment, and then everything goes dark. And then out of nowhere, let's just say that green light appears from under one of the patient's rooms, like right under the door.
And then Anthony opens the door. Actually, no, retcon that. And then one of the nurses opens the door to see what the green light is. They open the door and see a duck balloon over a patient. But then immediately the balloon turns and stares directly at the nurse. And the drawstring grabs the nurse by the throat, pulls it in, and closes the door. All you hear is silence.
So then,
yeah.
So then, after Anthony witnessed that, he just runs down the hall, all the way down to one of the corridors, and then he gets a call on Peter's phone again, and he answers, and he hears Peter, screaming, "Help me!" So then Anthony freaks out. He's like, "I don't know where you are. Like, where are you? What the hell's going on, man?" And then afterwards,
Anthony looks up to the sky. Well, and then sees Peter on the roof of the building, of the hospital. He's standing on the ledge while trying to talk to Anthony on the phone. "I need help. They're everywhere. I don't know what I'm gonna do," says Peter.
So at that moment, when I hear Peter say this through the phone, the call disconnects. And I look out at the figure that I perceived as Peter all this time. And I look back down, and I realize all this time Peter had been talking to me through his own phone. I had my phone, and I had his. So I look back up at this figure and wonder, how did he call me, and how did he know to call his own phone?
and then
Then all of a sudden, the figure jumps, and everything around me goes black. And I wake up on the middle of the campus grounds, screaming. As I look up above me, it's almost midnight, and a giant cloudy figure in the shape of a duck looms overhead. The end.
That's something.
The cycle continues.
That was actually pretty good. I liked it a lot.
that was something a little from us, but it gets better in the next episode. But that concludes our anniversary special. You got to see our actual faces.
Yes.
But for the most part, you're going to just see us cartoon-wise unless we want to do another live one. Who knows? Depends on how we feel. But, yes. So, thank you for everybody who's listening or even watching this, because there will also be a, actual on SoundCloud and Spotify and iTunes and all these other places that it took so long to get us into. Well, actually not really, but still.
Right. If there's any actual feedback, if someone wants to leave a comment, anybody, literal anyone, and say whether you like the idea of us doing videos or not, like, that'd be cool. If there's like a little bit of interest in that, like we could do that.
Yeah, that too. And also, if you guys have any cool ideas that you want to see done, we'll probably be able to do it. Or give us a genre or something like that, or something that you want to see us tackle. We're here for that, because, I mean, making up stories.
I think, yeah. Also upcoming, we have another off-topic podcast coming soon.
Yes,
sometime, right?
Hoofananny. That is our spin-off off-topic series. So stay tuned, because after every episode that we do is another Hoofananny that comes out.
That's right. So off-topic, we'll be talking probably games, movies, what we've been doing, ideas. Mostly the first three, though.
Yeah, pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But Hoofananny is where majority of the off-topic stuff will be. And you can find that on Spotify and iTunes and everywhere else too. And so forth. And then also stay tuned into the future with Improvatory, because we might branch out to not only books, but gonna do animation endeavors and video game endeavors and a whole bunch of other stuff. But for now, you got us here, and we got all this other merch stuff too. But yeah, I don't know if you guys got anything else you want to say, but
that's it.
That's it.
That's a wrap. That's the anniversary, boys.